Hey everyone, Hungry Cat here. I hope you enjoyed my two-part video series showcasing my through hike of the Foothills Trail. If you haven't watched that yet, definitely check it out and drop me a comment to let me know what you think. In this video, I'm going to go over some of the main considerations when planning a through hike of the Foothills Trail. We'll talk about the best time of year to hike, which direction to hike in, eastbound or westbound, getting to and from the trail, shuttles and parking, navigation, permits and camping, resupply, water availability, food storage, and whether or not the Foothills Trail would make a good first through hike or long distance backpacking trip. Now, I'd like to share this information with as many people as possible, so if you find this video useful, please do hit that like button, share it with friends on social media, and consider subscribing to my channel. Your support is always very much appreciated. I'm not going to cover gear for the hike in this video, but I did leave a link in the video description to my Foothills Trail gear list if you're interested. Check out the video description for links to all of the resources that I mentioned here, including my Foothills Trail GPX map files, links to shuttle providers, and to the Foothills Trail Conservancy website, which is a great all-around resource for planning a Foothills Trail hike. With that said, let's dive right in. When to hike. The Foothills Trail is located in the northern part of South Carolina, with a small portion that runs through southern North Carolina and Gorges State Park. You can hike the Foothills Trail year-round, assuming you're comfortable with the weather of the season you're hiking in. Like many southern Appalachian trails, I think the ideal time to hike is in the late spring between the beginning of May and early June, or during the fall in October and November when the leaves have started changing and summer temperatures have begun to cool. I started my hike on October 16th, and there was a nice mix of color in the leaves, though the fall colors would have been more pronounced if I'd started in early November. But those are just my favorite seasons to hike in. The Foothills Trail is a great trail to hike year-round. If you're looking for more solitude and have the skills and equipment to handle winter weather, you might enjoy a winter hike. Summers are going to be hot, but the trail offers plenty of shade and water along the way. It's also very well maintained and easy to follow, so you don't have to worry about bushwhacking through overgrowth during the summer months, as you might on other lesser traveled trails. Hiking direction. The Foothills Trail is approximately 77 miles in length and runs east to west. For a through hike, the main factors to consider when choosing direction are logistical convenience, difficulty level and scenery, and cost. Most people drive to the trail and leave a car at one end or the other. If you're doing this, then it really just comes down to what is easier for you. I left my car at Table Rock State Park and started at Oconee State Park because I knew that I was going to drive north when I finished. So convenience was the primary factor in my own choice, but I do also like having a natural build-up in my hikes. If you want to ramp up in difficulty so you're not hiking the most difficult sections of the trail right away, I recommend starting at Oconee State Park and going west to east. If you switch and hike from east to west, you'll tackle the harder terrain first. If you're like me and prefer to end the hike with a reward of more dramatic and beautiful scenery, then hiking west to east and ending at Table Rock State Park is definitely the way to go. The entire trail is full of beauty, but the eastern end has the best high elevation views. Lastly, if you're really on a tight budget and you plan to leave a car at one of the termini, just know that at the time of making this video, Table Rock State Park charges a parking fee of $6 per vehicle per day, whereas Oconee State Park charges a fee of $5 per vehicle per day. It's a small difference, but worth noting from a cost perspective depending on how much time you plan to spend hiking the trail. Access and shuttles. There are a number of access points if you're breaking your Foothills Trail hike up into sections. If you're interested in those, check out the Foothills Trail Conservancy website link in the video description. Here, we're going to focus on through hike logistics. If you plan to leave a car at one of the trail termini, you'll either be parking at Oconee State Park at the western terminus or Table Rock State Park at the eastern terminus. Parking is $5 per vehicle per day at Oconee State Park and $6 per vehicle per day at Table Rock State Park. If you aren't going to drive to the trail, then the closest city and airport access is Greenville, South Carolina. You'll need a shuttle to get from Greenville to one of the trailheads, so let's talk about shuttles. The Foothills Trail Conservancy has a dedicated page listing volunteer shuttle providers. I've linked to it in the video description. These kind people provide shuttles as a volunteer service, typically from one end of the trail to the other, or between the various trail access points if you're section hiking. The shuttle provider that assisted me did so on a volunteer basis without charging a fee. In these cases, it's appropriate to offer a donation or gas money, which is what I did. One of the best parts about the Foothills Trail is the community behind it, so it's important to be respectful and remember, these are just people helping people. If you need a shuttle to get to the trailhead, one of the listed shuttle volunteers may be able to help you with your transport from Greenville, but you'll need to explore that with them as it's a much bigger commitment for them. It takes about 45 minutes to get from Greenville to Table Rock State Park, and about an hour and 20 minutes to go from Greenville to Oconee State Park. The Foothills Trail Conservancy lists commercial options on the same page as the volunteer shuttle providers, so between the two, you should be able to find a way from Greenville to the trail. If you have a situation that falls outside of this, try posting on the Foothills Trail hiking Facebook group to see if someone can help you out. Navigation. The Foothills Trail is well blazed with white rectangular blazes and easy to follow, but I still recommend bringing a map or some kind of tool for navigation. The Foothills Trail Conservancy has free maps of trail access points along with GPS coordinates on their website. They also have paper maps of the trail and guidebooks available for purchase in their online store. I like to use GPS maps on trail so I always know exactly where I am and how close I am to water, campsites, and other waypoints. For this hike, I created my own GPS-based map of the trail and added waypoints for water and campsites along the way. I didn't map out every waypoint, but I added enough to make the tool quite useful for on-trail navigation. The GPX files I created can be uploaded into any free GPS reader app. I typically use the Gaia GPS reader app. I always know where I am on trail relative to waypoints, and I can use it in airplane mode without draining my phone battery. Check out the video description for a link to my map files, which you can download and use for free. If you wish to add more waypoints, you can also do so in Gaia, making your level of planning completely customizable. Permits and camping. You don't need to have a permit to hike the Foothills Trail, but there is a registration kiosk at both the eastern and western termini. Hikers can fill out one card per group and deposit it in the box. This is primarily for safety purposes. There are no shelters along the Foothills Trail, but there are plenty of good campsites along the way. Some of the larger established campsites are noted with signs, while others are not marked, but easy to spot. All sites are first come, first served. If a campsite's full, you're probably not too far away from another one. Now, I camped with a tent, but there are plenty of options for hanging hammocks. Not all campsites have water access, but many do, so if you like to plan where you camp in advance, check on the water availability with your map. Resupply. Whether or not you need to resupply depends on your daily hiking mileage. I carried 3 days of food and 1 morning of snacks, finishing my hike the morning of day 4, so I really didn't need to resupply. There are no stores close enough to the trail to make going into a town to resupply worthwhile, and it's largely unnecessary. The most convenient way to arrange resupply is to discuss this option with your shuttle provider. My shuttle driver Taz carried military-issue metal boxes that he used to help people leave food caches in the woods. This is ideal because the food is safe from wildlife, and you don't have to worry about coming back for your own container after your hike. You could, however, leave your own food caches, but just remember that it's going to need to be stored in a bear-proof container or hung so that nothing can get to it while you're hiking. Once you pick up the food, you're also going to have to carry out your container or come back for it later. If you plan to be on trail for more than 5 days or don't want to carry that much food, I recommend asking your shuttle driver if they can help you with food caching. I think this is the best option, and it really helps to open up access to those who might want to take a bit more time to complete a thru hike. Water availability. The Foothills Trail is full of water. Streams, rivers, lakes, waterfalls. It really has it all. You will of course need to filter or treat your water, and I used a Sawyer squeeze for this purpose on my hike. I added a few water waypoints to my GPX map files in areas that I thought might be a little drier than others, and around campsites so that I would know that water was available at those particular camping locations. Otherwise, I never had a problem with water availability, and I never really walked that far without seeing some type of water source I could use. Food storage. Like any Southern Appalachian Trail, there are black bears, mice, and other animals that would love to eat your food, so proper food storage is important. You'll want to be able to hang your food overnight or use a bear canister or sack. I also like to use hermetically sealed plastic bags like the OpSack to minimize food odors. On this hike, I used an OpSack inside of my lightweight food bag and hung my food overnight using the PCT hanging method. I carry a small rock bag to make it easy to throw the rope up and over a suitable tree limb. Some of the campsites have bear cables, but not all of them, so make sure you're prepared with some rope or some way to hang your food. For the sake of wildlife, other hikers, and everyone, I definitely urge you to store your food properly when you're hiking the Foothills Trail. One night I was camping by Lake Jocassee and a small black bear came down out of the woods to investigate while I was cooking my dinner. It ran away when I stood up, but I was definitely careful to properly hang my food away from camp overnight to avoid further encounters. Is the Foothills Trail a good first thru hike? I've heard a number of hikers describe the Foothills Trail as their favorite trail, and it's easy to understand why. I personally think the Foothills Trail is the perfect first thru hike or multi-day backpacking trip. It's also a great place to do a gear shakedown hike if you're preparing for something longer like an Appalachian Trail thru-hike. It's well maintained and packed full of amazing waterfalls, creeks, rivers, Lake Jocassee, and wonderful views. The logistics of the hike are relatively simple, and at 77 miles, it can be hiked at a reasonable pace in a week. Resupply is simple. Either you don't need to resupply or you can arrange food caches. As far as the Southern Appalachians are concerned, this trail really has it all. Even if you don't hike the trail all at once, it's a great place to get out and enjoy nature, try out new gear, and develop your own backpacking routine and style. The Foothills Trail gets 2 big thumbs up from me, and I hope that you have the opportunity to get out and try it yourself. That wraps up this video on planning and logistics for the Foothills Trail. Don't forget to check out the resources in the video description, and if you got any value out of this video, please do hit that like button, share it with your friends or on social media, and consider subscribing to my channel. If you subscribe and hit the notification bell, you'll never miss a video, and it's a great way to show your support for the content I create here on YouTube. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you on the trail or in the next video.